Those against no. I declare that carried. Moving through to public comment. We've got no members of the public here who wish to speak. Moving through onto item 4, which is conflict of interest declarations. I will declare a conflict with item 5, so I'll pass over the chair to Deputy Mayor Lewis for that item, but will be available to answer any questions if that's helpful. So item 6 in regards to proposed overseas travel. Thank you. Moving through to now, any other conflict of interest declarations? No? Okay, moving on to item 5, which is the regional collaboration on a water services delivery plan. Welcome, Bruce.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The report before you seeks agreement basically to work together with other councils in the region to put together a new Three Waters model and development of a water services delivery plan for the Wellington region. So this is in response to the new government policy, local water done well, and the coming legislation which we expect to have a requirement for councils to deliver a plan within 12 months from the middle of this year when that legislation will be put before the House. So happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Bruce. Any questions from members? Councillor Mitchell.
Thank you, Bruce. Just for clarification, the paper makes particular mention of the interconnected metro water networks of Wellington, Porirua, Upper Hutt and Hutt City Councils. Are those the councils and affiliated iwi who will be involved in this process, or is it the broader, currently Wellington water catchment?
So currently, the councils that are looking at this memorandum of working together covers the Wellington region. So it's the 9 territorial authorities that are all looking at this. Clearly, the councils that are already shareholders of Wellington Water don't really have a lot of choice, I imagine, in terms of how they're going to, they're not going to be stepping back, I imagine, and working alone. They'll be looking to work together.
And just further context to that, I think there is a willingness or an openness around, particularly for the Horu Whenua, if they were wanting to have conversations or look at this, and also the top of the south. I think there's been some indications. So it's not saying that they will or they won't, but there's, I think, an openness to be talking and working together on solutions. Any other questions for Bruce on the paper? No? Okay, great. We'll move forward to the recommendations. So I'll move the recommendations 1 through to 4. And just to make a couple of comments, but I'll get a seconder first. Is it having a second that? Councillor Edwards. Just to make a couple of comments. For me, I would say that this particular moment is the start of a pretty important process or piece of work for our council in collaboration with others that we will potentially do in a generation. So while it doesn't feel like it's maybe that important right now, this issue is so huge that we really need to grapple with it and ensure we have something which is sustainable moving forward. We're all aware of the colossal challenges and costs ahead when it comes to our water infrastructure. And if we get this right, we will lay the foundations of a structure that ensures future generations will have access to clean water, treat and discharge our wastewater properly, and manage our stormwater system safely in the face of growth and climate change as well. We are the first council to put this before us. I think there are a few others today, I believe. So I haven't heard exactly what has happened there. But we will be the first, I think, to, I hope, in a moment, agree to this process and to the principles that are outlined in it. And that while we will rightly be putting forward the best interests of Lower Hutt and our ratepayers in our position, we must also consider our wider region and potentially beyond, because this is a challenge that we are all facing together. And I have absolute confidence that both our elected wing and our governance wing, elected wing and management wing will work constructively with everyone else in the region to move this with the urgency that it needs, but also, as I say, constructively as well. So I'll put it. All those in favour say aye. Those against no. I declare that carried unanimously. Okay, great. Thank you, Bruce. Now moving through to item 6. So if people don't mind, I'm just going to allow Deputy Mayor Lewis to chair it from her seat rather than us switch, if that's okay. So I'll pass it over to you, Deputy Mayor Lewis.
Well, thank you, Mr Mayor. And moving on to item 6, as you can see, proposed overseas travel, United Kingdom to the infrastructure delegation over there. So is anyone speaking to this? No.
I can speak to it, Deputy Mayor Lewis. It's fairly self-explanatory. I think I can be brief, and in the context of the importance of this agenda to local government in New Zealand, you've just passed another item which clearly a big focus of this delegation is in relation to that and city deals, which in effect water would need to be part of in terms of a new solution. So it's there. The reason it's before you for approval is because that's what your policy requires, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay, questions from the floor. Councillor Park and Councillor Edwards.
Kia ora, through you, Deputy Mayor. I'm disappointed to see that there is no climate change assessment on this policy, on this piece, unless I've missed it. So my question is, what is the climate change impact on this, and how are we ensuring that that is being mitigated?
Councillor Parkin, it's a request for support for travel. I'm conscious that travel includes airfare. I'm conscious that that has emissions. I'm conscious that there'll be travel around the UK, but I'd also suggest that if we sort water out and get that right, then actually the future emissions for our city will be far better. But, you know, I haven't put details there in the report because it is a simple request for authority in accordance with the policy. So apologies if we've fallen short of your expectations.
Councillor Edwards.
Yeah, I'm going to speak and vote in favour of this, but my question is, seeing as it's going to be the whole region, we're moving into this regional approach to sorting out, as the Mayor quite correctly said, these massive issues, and whatever lessons and tips and whatever else can be gleaned on this trip will serve the whole region. Is there any prospect of getting the region to share in the cost of sending one of our leaders on this delegation?
I suspect it will cost more in bureaucracy to actually ask for permission across the region than what's there. What I do think is important, and I'm not speaking for Mayor Barry, but I'm sure it will be there, is that, and this is typical when you go on those sorts of delegations, that learning will be shared both in this chamber. Even though it's some of the area I'm from and I'm familiar with some of the players and what's there, I'm sure the executive team will look forward to that, and I have no doubt that it will be a topic at the mayoral forum at some point in the future, should one of the 25 places be allocated, if you are minded to agree to this request.
Councillor Mitchell.
Yeah, I had a related question about our region, not about who pays for Mayor Barry to attend, but whether we're aware of any other mayors or chief executives from our region who might be joining this valuable trip as well.
I'm not personally aware of that, no. Do expect there to be fierce competition for 25 places, though.
So a question on that. So it's has it already been sorted out for the 25, or do you? It hasn't. Okay.
No, we didn't think there was much point putting a definite application in if you were going to say no, that's not appropriate. But I think if you say yes, we'll be at it straight away.
Okay, councillors. If there's no further questions, I think we'll just move on it. The recommendations, notes and receives information, notes the infrastructure delegation program, which is very thorough, and notes the cost of the travel, estimated at $10,000, registration fee of $7,900, and approves that the travel request for Mayor Barry to attend the Infrastructure New Zealand delegation to the United Kingdom in June 16th to the 22nd. Can I have a seconder for these, please? Councillor Edwards. Is there any debate. Councillor Edwards.
I think the Mayor in the earlier topic we're dealing in this meeting outlined very well the importance of this topic. We're, as a region, spending tens of millions, hundreds of millions on Three Waters issues. If there are, I regard this as an investment, this trip. If there are things that we can pick up on ways to do things better, ways that they've handled it, ways of keeping these services in public ownership, you know, I think this trip is important. I think our Mayor has shown exemplary leadership in the Three Waters space. He seems to be the go-to person, not just in this region, but around New Zealand when media want to talk about Three Waters issues, because he has made it a mission to stay on top of the topic. And I can't think of a better person to send, quite frankly, from a governance point of view. So, I mean, it's a sensitive time to be going on overseas travel when we're talking about rates increases. But I say again, I regard this as an investment. I'm happy to support it.
Thank you. Councillor Morgan.
Kia ora. I concur, and would like to just say I do support it because I think our Mayor does do a fantastic job in this space. And for me, it's about building relationships. And I think you will perhaps liaise with some really key players as well that might be really beneficial for our whole community in the future and at large, if that makes sense. I do just want to raise a flag, though, after being in education for all of my life and fighting for every penny. And I always used to look at central government and go, oh my gosh, they're on this soiree here and this junket here. And do you really need 25 people to go and work out what's happening, you know, around water and pipes? So just want to signal, you know, and I know it's not in our brief because it's not our baby, it's not our thing, we're going to it. But I think with modern technology, there is so much that we could do with virtual tours, and you could still get those people in the room and be networking and connecting, but looking at a different way of perhaps gaining and gleaning some of that information. So I'm not here to say, you know, it's good, I support it, but I hope, Campbell, too, you'll be pushing some of those barrows, you know, as you go forward and looking at how we can do these sorts of things differently, only given that we're in such a really critical financial space right now. But I just wanted to voice that, I have a bit of a dilemma with these sorts of things just in general. So thank you.
Councillor Briggs, Councillor Brown.
I'll just speak briefly in support of this. I think, one, we're lucky that we've got a Mayor that's got leadership in the region in general, but also particularly in underwater space, as Councillor Edwards has pointed out, but also in his role as VP of Local Government New Zealand and building on those relationships, because as water in our country has continually worked towards a more positive outcome for how we have clean water consistently to our communities, there will be learnings across the country. And I support Councillor Morgan's point that the relationships and the building of that knowledge will actually give us far more in the long run locally. I see also this opportunity for us as a city as a very small investment for the amount of capital works that we are doing in our city around water. And also finally noting the point of the Chief Executive, this conversation is probably consuming more resource than it is to send someone on this delegation. So I think we are very lucky to have the opportunity to have a representative from our city as part of this delegation. And I've no doubt that the learnings that are going to come back will be far more significant than the small investment required.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Brown.
Thank you. It's clear that us as current elected members, water is the issue of our time, and we've embraced that, and we have actively worked to consider what all options are and actively work towards the Three Waters, and now there's a change and we're pivoting, and we want to carry on in that same vein of openly doing the best that we can as a council for people and water based on the rules that we have. And to date, we have done that quickly and we've done it adeptly. And the new change that we had in the previous report, we embraced that, and there's all options. I think they're considering it at a national and a local level. So I don't think either side is completely clear yet, but having those options and looking at those different scenarios that are in the UK, I think that will be at all levels. So it's essential that for us to keep our adeptness, that we are understanding all of that and, yeah, support the delegation.
Thank you. That's 4 people in support of this recommendation. Is anyone against? I have nobody in against, so I'm going to put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. I declare that carried. Thank you. And just in closing, I too support everybody's words here today in support of you, Mr. Mayor, attending this and being invited to this conference. I think it's a great opportunity for our city, the region, and perhaps for the whole country to bring back the lessons that you learn from there, and going in person as well. As Councillor Morgan said, that is the key thing, and the fact that you're going to visit places that have the infrastructure, and like Wales, it's got a climate like ours as well. Perhaps you can bring back some learnings from there. So really looking forward back to the information. It's been a passion of yours to have this council to focus on our infrastructure, and water was always one of your passions to get it right. So it's an opportunity good to be missed, and I think you've got the council's support there. I know you have. So thank you so much. I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Gosh, it's awkward sitting here while people are sort of talking about issues like this. So, no, but thank you for your support in this. And I just want to say that I certainly don't take it lightly, the approval to be able to go. I've already been thinking if this opportunity was there around how we can absolutely maximise our time over there, not just with what's in the delegation itself, but what other connections and learnings we can make. I'll be leaning on someone who's knows a few people over that way to think about what other benefits we can get as well. So thank you for that. Okay, now moving through. Thank you. Which is item 7, recommendations to council from the Policy, Finance and Strategy Committee. And that is has just been held. So I'll move that council adopts the recommendations from items 5A and 5B, which is Seaview Marina draft statement of intent and Urban Plus draft statement of intent. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor, any comments, Councillor Mitchell?
Yeah, just noting that that recommendation doesn't include the recommendations coming out of the Control of Animals bylaw paper. No, I'm seeing.
I believe it was a timing thing.
It is. It's going up. The CATS bylaw is going to council 27 March.
Yep. This was purely, I think, just to get these out the door, given, yep. Okay, so they've been moved and seconded by Councillor Mitchell. Any discussion? All those in favour say aye. Those against no. I declare that carried. Oh, yes, sorry, apologies. So I did put in an apology for Councillor Shaw, but we'll just make an amendment on that, noting the time of your arrival. So. And
that's okay for Councillor Mitchell.
And Councillor Mitchell, you're comfortable with that? Yep. All those in favour say aye. Those against no. Declare that carried. Okay, thank you. So now moving through to exclusion of the public. Questions. I've received no questions. Exclusion of the public. And I'll move that the public be excluded from the following parts of proceedings. Number 1, recommendation to council from the Climate Change and Sustainability Committee. And number 2, recommendations to council from the Chief Executive's Performance Review Subcommittee. And for the second item, it will just be Mayor and councillors. Any discussion? All those in favour say aye. Those against no. I declare that carried. Seconder. Deputy Mayor Lewis. All those in favour say aye. Those against no. Declare that carried.